Hello, my friends. Welcome in or welcome back. Thank you for supporting my channel today and sharing your energy with me. My name is Amanda, and today we have your monthly guidance reading. We're going to take a look at maybe what's coming in the month of July, what you're leaving behind, and any advice or insights that Spirit wants to share with you. Remember to take whatever messages are aligning and confirming for you and leave the rest for someone else. And we have 3 soul paths for you to choose from today. If you are ready to hop into your reading, you can choose the pile or the cards that are speaking to you the most, then head down into the description box or the pinned comments and skip to your reading. However, if you'd like me to introduce you to the soul paths, let me do that now. For soul path number 1, we have the Everyday Witch Tarot with the Peacock Oar. For Soul Path 2, we have the Steampunk Tarot with the Hematite. And for Soul Path 3, we have the Tarot over the Rainbow with the BC Jade Stone. So when you are ready, use your intuition to choose the soul path that is calling to you the most, then click on the timestamp in the description box or pinned comments to skip to your reading, and we'll see you over there. Hello, Soul Path 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose the Everyday Witch Tarot with the Peacock Oar. And before we get into your main tarot reading, we are going to pull a monthly overview energy card, which will give us a feel for maybe the month ahead for you and what to expect or what to focus on. Spirit, could we get a monthly energy? Thank you. Oh, that's a great way to start your month of July. Happiness. This is a very summery card. There is somebody bathing in the mud under the desert sun among friends. I really get a feeling of like a spa day almost. I feel like you might be treating yourself in the month of July. You might be finding time for rest and relaxation, to lean into your joys, to I want to say express your love for something. So really being able to explore that a little bit more, to lean into that a little bit more. You might even be going on a vacation or doing some kind of retreat or resort style of vacation, maybe even in the outdoors under the hot sun. I do get Texas or even Arizona, Florida, or you could be going overseas as well for a vacation. This could also be where you live. But I really get a feeling of being in a zone, a zone of, I don't know if it's comfort or joy or both, or just treating yourself this month. And I just looked at the bottom of the deck out of curiosity, see how far you've come. So it's almost like you're celebrating yourself, or you're really taking the time out to really celebrate who you are and celebrate all of the hard work that you've put in, knowing that there's still work to do or there's more work ahead, but you really understanding the idea of pacing yourself and really finding a beautiful balance between work and play and maybe grief and happiness. It's almost like you're embracing the ebbs and flows of life and almost coming into a really beautiful equilibrium. So let's get a few tarot cards to see what's happening in the month of July for you. For Soul Path 1, thank you. And one more, please, for Soul Path 1. Spirit, I forgot to knock, but that's okay. I think this one was first. Oh, wow, okay. So we have the King of Swords. We have the Sun in reverse. And we have the Strength card with the Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, and that is in reverse. not necessarily a bad thing. The reversal simply means that it's either a blockage, the energy is toned down, or there is a delay. So the King of Swords, we have a very strong person here who is very logical, and they get straight to the point of what they need to do. They've got a plan, a strategy in place, and they take action. It's also somebody who is willing to learn from mistakes and integrate those lessons into future experiences or circumstances. Problem solver. So I feel like you're somebody who is a really person who really steps up to the challenge, to any kind of issue, to find a fix or an adjustment, or to make changes for improvement. So I see in the month of July that you might be really stepping into this energy a little bit more. This is a mastery of the mindset, of the intellect, of the thinking. So you could even be feeling like you've got your mental health under control, like you are really able to clearly make decisions and move forward with the things that you want to do and where you want to go and how things are going to play out. I definitely feel like you will be in this sun energy, in this sunny, happy energy. As we saw in the opening energy here, there is the happiness being reflected in the sun card. However, the sun is in reverse, so you might find moments and experiences that make you happy, but there is something that is blocking you from really embracing that happiness. I'm not sure if it's because you have a lot on your mind, and so it's really hard to detach yourself from work, for example, or to detach yourself from the problems that you're trying to solve and the things that you are trying to figure out in your day-to-day life. So it's almost like I'm getting the feeling like this question or this issue or this problem is kind of sitting in the back of your mind. So there's almost a feeling of you not being able to fully embrace this playfulness, this playful energy, this joy and happiness. Not that it will not happen. I do see it happening, and it's very clear from the opening energy, as well as confirmation in the sun card. However, when the sun is in reverse, it still means the same thing. It's just a little bit dimmed. So we'll get into a couple of oracle clarifiers in a bit, but my question is, what is preventing you from really embracing this happiness, this joyful moment or experience that I feel you'll have the opportunity to explore? Do you have a lot on your mind? Do you have a lot of tasks and responsibilities on your plate that is almost making you feel a little guilty for taking this time out? Now we have the Strength card as well. So there's an energy of you really taming the beast here, and whatever that beast means for you, that could be that mental health that you really feel like you have a hold on and that you're able to control or manage or mitigate. And I feel that is a result of you really bringing compassion to what you are dealing with, the things that are on your mind, the things that you're kind of dealing with on a day-to-day. And with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, there's an opportunity that you're not quite ready to take advantage of at this time. And I almost wonder if it's because you aren't ready. You don't want to go after the opportunities because you want to have time for a little bit of fun, a little bit of play, and to be able to bring something back into balance again, bring that mental health back into balance, to put work aside for a moment, to really have some fun. And I almost wonder if that's the softness and almost the self-control that you're bringing in with the strength, is that even though you love what you do, or you really find what you do rewarding, that you want to take a step back for a minute and have some fun. I feel like maybe happiness and fun haven't really been a part of the equation for a really long time. So while yes, there might be opportunities to do new things, to grow your business, or to level up in your career, or maybe plant a new seed to help something grow in your life in some way, It's like you want to put a pin in that, and that's kind of what I'm feeling, is you're putting a pin in something because you just want to be for a minute. You just want to enjoy. So let's get a couple of cards to clarify for Soul Path 1, Spirit. Soul Path, yep, okay, take those two. Let's see, we have community and thinker, there you are. So like I said, and there's another number 8, there's a 44, which equals 8. So we've definitely got some thinking energy here. We've got your community. So this sun card also showcases that, people in community, people enjoying themselves in the, you know, midday sun. But there's a connection that I feel you want to make with your community in the month of July. You may be coming together with friends, maybe with family, or maybe coworkers outside of the work environment. And I feel that's really going to be a bit of a highlight for you, is to be able to problem solve something in a way that involves joy and play. That just came to me. And to be able to bring a little bit of self-control or control over the mind in a way that doesn't feel so serious and dark. This is more about leaning into joys in order to dim the darkness, or shine a light in the darkness a little bit more. So yeah, there's a lot of community connection here, and being in community with others, as we mentioned in the happiness card. And then there's this thinking energy where maybe you're coming up with ideas on how to do that, or you're leading others to find more joy and abundance, and people are looking to you for that leadership. You could be a leader in some regard, and you're trying to plan something for your community, for your coworkers or your employees, to have a little bit of fun. I'm getting maybe it is a spa day or a retreat day, or maybe it is something involving the outdoors, and playfulness of maybe sports. Or I'm also getting going to the fairgrounds and just having a day at the fair, to really create that bonding between you and the employees or other coworkers and vice versa, to really build and strengthen that community. So I feel like you're coming up with ideas on how to do that. You're sharing it with the people that are going to be involved. And I really feel a very take charge energy, but I also feel like you're stepping out of that work environment, or that maybe even school environment, to have some fun. And to put work and opportunities aside for a minute, because I feel like they will be there in the end. This is just a time to connect. This is a time of connection, a time of really seeping yourself in happiness. And I want to say spontaneity and joy, lighthearted play, however that kind of plays out this July. So we're going to get 2 final oracle cards to end your reading. And let's see, Spirit, could we get 2 oracle cards? One more, please. One more. One more. Thank you. One more. Maybe they only wanted one. Let's see, one more, please, Spirit. Yeah, there's definitely a feeling of no work, all play. Okay, so we have prosperity and abundance and transformation and change. Okay, so what I get with this is, if we're not looking at the titles of the cards, I really get this feeling of enjoying the fruits of your labor, enjoying moments to have gratitude for the things that you've accomplished up until now, remembering what we saw at the beginning, see how far you've come. This is that moment to have a little fun and really express your gratitude for yourself, for maybe even your team if you have a team, or people that you're connected with, to really appreciate the support you've received, to appreciate yourself for putting in the work and sticking with something, for doing the work, because that's not necessarily easy either. And to also understand how much you've changed, how much you've grown, and moving away from maybe some stormy energy that you've experienced up until now. I almost get the feeling that this is somebody who has either built a business or has worked really hard to lead people, and it might have been a really tough go. It might have been a really rough season or 2 or 3 even. I feel like taking charge of this has not been easy for you. And so I feel like now it's time, to really take a moment, because I think the winds are shifting in your favor, where things are picking up, things are moving ahead. You are starting to see changes within the industry or within the environment. Maybe you're starting to get new clients, or you're just starting to see sales pick up, or whatever the case may be. Things are picking up, so you want to take a moment before things get wild again to really see how far you've come, to appreciate this moment in time, and to understand that the dark days, I feel, are almost behind you. Now, that's not to say that it's a permanent thing, because change is always present, and the Wheel of Fortune is lying in the shadows somewhere. So we can always count on change, but that doesn't mean we can't take this time to really embrace the change, the positive changes that are happening, the joyful moments that we can lean into, and express our gratitude for the people around us who have supported us, and to appreciate ourselves for all of the hard work that we've done up until now, and all of the storms. We've got storms in both of these cards, all of the storms that we have lived through, metaphorically speaking. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 1. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today, and with gratitude, I'm sending you all my love for the month of July, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2. Welcome to your reading. So you chose the Steampunk Tarot with the Hematite Stone, and before we get into your reading, we're going to pull an energy card to see what the month of July might have in store for you, or maybe what to focus on in the month of July. Spirit, could we get a card for Soul Path 2, please, for their month of July? Soul Path 2 for the month of July. Thank you. So you have Learn, okay, with Rebuild at the bottom of the deck. So this feels like interesting. I also get a bit of a harvest energy for this as well, where you're trying to learn or understand how something works, how to do something in the way that's most respectful or the most efficient. I feel like you're going to be learning something. You could be taking a course or a workshop, something that is not necessarily school, because, I mean, I guess it depends on where you are in the world, but in my neck of the woods, school has completed, but maybe you're taking a summer course or something. Maybe you're taking some kind of workshop, but you're really trying to understand how something works and how to, the mechanics of something. And interesting, I said mechanics, and then there's a rebuild at the bottom of the deck. So it's like, are you trying to learn to build a house? Are you trying to rebuild a car? Maybe you're rebuilding a car, a classic car or something, and you're trying to understand how things work, or how to keep things in its original form. But there's definitely structure here. There's definitely an understanding of how to do something. And then there is the effort that goes into that learning. So you'll have to let me know if that is on point at all. Let's get into your tarot now and let's see what's up and coming for your month of July. What are you learning? Maybe the cards will tell us that. For Soul Path 2, please, Spirit. 2 more. Thank you. Okay. So we have the Seven of Wands in the sideways position. We have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse position. And there is the Seven of Cups in the upright with the Four of Swords at the bottom of the deck. What's interesting is that I don't get a feeling of learner energy here. I'm getting a feeling of a little bit of confusion, a little bit of not knowing what the focus or the purpose of something is. So maybe that's what you're trying to learn or figure out. Maybe you are doing something in your life that requires some kind of assessment, some kind of evaluation, and you're trying to learn how to best move ahead, move forward. But I definitely feel like you want something, you aspire for something new and different and something that you're really passionate about, that you can really put your time, energy, effort, and maybe even money into. You're willing to make the investment. However, there's a blockage to that. There's a blockage to, I want to say, rising above something. Is it a confidence thing? It's like there's a fear happening with the Seven of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. There's a feeling of you wanting this, but not knowing how to stand up for it and fight for it and work for it, because maybe you're worried about what other people will say. And maybe you don't feel like you have everything you need to commit to this in the long term. Maybe you're nervous about it being fleeting, or maybe you're worried that you'll eventually lose interest in this thing, almost like a project that you start but never finish or follow through with. I'm getting a very strong feeling here. And then with the Seven of Cups, and I'm just noticing you've got 2 sevens here, so sevens could be significant for you. And sevens are all about finding that direction and purpose, and both of these, well, especially the Seven of Cups, it's about illusions and having a dream, but not really understanding if it's real or not. And also not knowing what choices to make that really align with that dream, because maybe you are overwhelmed with choice and you want to make the right choice. So you're almost stuck in a bit of an assessment energy. You want to choose wisely. Choosing wisely, I feel it's something that you want to do, but you don't know what that looks like. So maybe that is what you're learning in the month of July, is learning what's best for you and how to make the best decision. Now, to getting there, I feel like you might be in a bit of a contemplative energy where you're really going inward to understand maybe the disappointments or the heartbreaks that you've had in the past, the things that you did and tried and didn't work out. So I almost wonder, is that advice, or is that where you're at right now, where you're assessing things? You are really taking a bit of a time out to really understand and learn what it is you want and how to move forward. What's my focus? What's my purpose? What's my drive? What is going to allow me to feel comfortable committing to this in the long term? But I do get a lot of stuck energy here, and I do get a feeling that there's some people on the outside in your environment around you that may be contributing to your doubt and fear. And maybe resisting. I get a lot of resistance in this card, where this person's trying to pull this mushroom out of the ground. And they're putting in a lot of effort, because it's what they want, to pull this mushroom out of the ground. And this mushroom is not happy that they're doing that. And this little snail is quite curious. So this learning process could be quite slow as you try to figure out how to do it in the best way possible. In the end, you have to use your intuition and choose what is best for you. And to understand, and maybe that's the key here, is to understand what that looks like. If nobody else had an opinion and you just had the green light and you're giving yourself your own permission to move ahead, to proceed with something, would you do it? Or would you still have doubts? And what are those doubts? And so if there is a piece missing, say there's some skill you're missing, or there's, I don't know, a specific kind of procedure or process that you need to understand better, then I think it's about getting to those things first before the decisions are made. So it's almost, I don't want to say building up your confidence, but building up and preparing yourself for this new thing. Maybe there's something that is hidden that you need to understand or come to some kind of truth about. And rather than moving forward in a direction that feels a little unclear, this could be a moment to really step back to understand something in a more clear way. Interesting. Soul Path 2. Now, with the hematite stone too, hematite is a very protective, grounded energy as well, and that's almost what I get here, is because Seven of Cups can be a very emotional energy where you are making decisions based on emotion, and that's not a bad thing. But if we're not bringing in logic and reason and intuition and kind of those other pieces of the puzzle, then we are going to get confused, because maybe we do have different feelings about this particular thing. We might have a passion and desire for it, but our emotions are making us feel anxious or scared or a little unsettled. So do we listen to those emotions to make those decisions? No, because they may not be true, right? They aren't based in logic. They are based in maybe previous experiences, or maybe that ego that tries to keep us safe and preventing us from doing something that's going to threaten our sense of security or safety, or not wanting us to be vulnerable or not wanting change. So we can't 100% rely on those emotions to make decisions. So we have to come back to a little bit of logic and reason with the sword energy of that thought, and then that intuition and that feeling of, what's my driving purpose here? What is my actual passion? And not allowing the fear of our ego or our subconscious or people around us to stop us in our tracks and not allow us to follow that passion, because they are projecting their own fears and insecurities onto us, but to instead step out of the noise and hear what our intuition and our logic and all of that emotion has to say. So yeah, it's kind of, I feel like there's a lot going on, generally speaking, and there is a lot of information that you might be taking in, both logically and emotionally, and maybe even intuitively as well. But maybe you're starting to learn what your passions are. Learn which direction you want to go. And so this might not be a month to make any big decisions, but to contemplate. Okay. So we have soulmates here. I don't know if soulmates or somebody in your life who you identify as a soulmate, could be a friend, could be a close family member, it could be a relationship or an intimate partner. I don't know if that is the person that you're trying to, I don't want to say appease, because maybe you're not trying to appease them, but you're having some conversations with about, this is what I want to do, and they're having some doubts and fears, and you're thinking about, well, is this my doubt and fear, or should I not follow this because this person has legitimate doubt and fears? But I feel like this is definitely something that you have gone round and round about, maybe even thought multiple times over, where you're thinking about it and you're going around and you're trying to find the most effective solution or the best solution to kind of get what you want, but also not disappoint others. Now, if this soulmate card didn't come out, I would say that this is purely within yourself, that you're having some internal challenges about something. Maybe you're learning something about self, you're learning something about what your desires and passions are. But I feel like there's somebody else in the mix here that maybe complicates things. And I don't want to say that in a bad way, but just adds an extra layer of thought, of consideration, which is maybe why there's a bit of confusing energy here and you not feeling like you want to proceed at this time. And you want to take a minute to just figure out, okay, so I've got this person's thoughts, opinions, advice, and what do I do with that? I kind of have an instinctual feeling of where I want to go and what my direction is, and the opportunity is here, but they've got some legitimate concerns or maybe even just legitimate points of argument, and I want to take that into consideration as well to make the best decision possible. And so you're kind of ruminating. I get a little bit of rumination with this as well. So I think the month of July is going to be a little bit of that rumination. And yeah. Let's see. We'll get a couple more cards to end your reading and just see if there's any advice that comes out for you here. But I think this time out, stepping away, taking a break from making decisions or taking action is really going to be helpful. It's almost like you're needing to completely take your self out of the mix and have some alone time or have some time to think for yourself and really contemplate, is this for me? And do I really want it? And does my instinct tell me this is what I should do? Is my heart calling me to do that thing and to move in this direction? And what do I feel emotionally? What are those fears and anxieties or doubts trying to tell me? And do I do the thing anyway, even though I have those fears and doubts? So, affirmation for acceptance and connect with Gaia. So we've got some grounding energy here, which is what I'm getting with the Four of Swords as well, of really finding a way to ground yourself from maybe the round and round, the chaotic, confusing thoughts and decisions that you feel you have to make. And there's also this too, where this person is moving away from this tornado energy or this stormy energy to take time out to be with herself and move away from this energy for a time, to ground and really come from a place where you have not only looked at your emotions, but you've also looked at the logics and the intuitive side of things so that you get a real full picture of what your final decision will be. And with the affirmation for acceptance, it's almost like you have to accept a part of you, and that could be what you're learning, is to not sacrifice so much of yourself for other people, because you will lose opportunity, you will lose chances to live out your soul journey, your soul purpose, the things that your soul wants you to do for pleasure, for growth, to experience. And when that happens, that's when the anxiety sets in, that's when the frustration sets in and the resentment. So we must be willing to accept the things that we really want and need in our life, regardless of what others might say or judge. And sometimes, no matter how hard we try, there are circumstances or realities that we simply can't alter. Illnesses, broken relationships, lost jobs. There are so many things in our lives that we can't fix. It can be difficult not to keep fighting, but sometimes battling the unchangeable just uses up our time and energy that would be better used in more productive ways. Sometimes we really need that serenity to accept the things that we can't change and the wisdom to know when it's time to do so. So that could be something that you are learning here in the month of July. So maybe making a list of kind of a column of column A, column B. One side could be what you have control over, and the other side could be what you don't have control over. And the side that you do have control over, you can make some concrete plans on how you'd like to change them. Give some thought to how much energy is going towards both. And once you've contemplated it, which could be this energy here, take that half of the list and rip it into shreds of the things that you cannot control. Because there is no sense in spending any time, effort, or energy on that. Be kind to yourself, take a breath, and admit to certain battles that you cannot win and may never will, which could be this Seven of Wands energy. And being outdoors could be quite helpful for you to find that respite, to find that space. This doesn't mean take a nap, although that could be relevant for some people, but you could go on nature walks. You could find a moment to sit under a tree and just spend the afternoon enjoying the birds and the wind and just observing and be in a bit of a meditative state without any distractions to see what thoughts and feelings and intuitions come up. And that's sometimes where the answers lie, is in those moments of solitude and quiet when we aren't actively thinking, when we aren't actively conversing with others to get the best advice. So, Soul Path 2, this is what I have for you. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today, and with gratitude, I'm sending you all my love for the month of July, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3, welcome to your reading. You chose the Tarot Over the Rainbow with the BC Jade. And before we get into it, let's choose an energy card to open the reading and get a feel for what July, the energy of July might be. And this could be something that you're stepping into, the overall energy of the month, or even what to focus on, actively focus on. Spirit, could we get a card for Soul Path 3? For the month of July, please. One card for Soul Path 3. Thank you. It was a little bit slow. So, we're cultivating. What are we cultivating here? Cultivating happiness. The bottom of the deck. Soul Path 1 got this, so you might want to check that out. If you are cultivating happiness, that could definitely be a Soul Path to watch. Or maybe you're from Soul Path 1. But this feeling of cultivating community, cultivating better self-care, cultivating moments of gratitude. Maybe you're cultivating plants, quite literally. Maybe you have a garden. I feel like you're really putting effort into something that is very heartfelt, that is very rewarding. Not monetary. I feel like this is a very soul level satisfaction. And you want to cultivate something, maybe it's a new routine or, a new self-care, I want to say program. But something that really feeds your soul here. And so that could be the energy to focus on for the month of July, or that could be the energy of July and what you're stepping into. But I really get a feeling of coming into community with friends, maybe cultivating beauty in your life, more beauty in your life, if you don't already have it. I think that there are some of you that could be doing more of this, where you're just surrounding yourself with beautiful things, with the comforts and joys that make you happy. So let's get some tarot cards now to see what else is going on. Details for Soul Path 3. Thank you for the month of July. Strongest energy, please. Thank you. One more. One more, please, Spirit. That one was coming out. All right. So we have the Eight of Cups. We have the Two of Wands in reverse. We have the Seven of Wands in the upright. And we have the Eight of Wands in the reverse. All right. So I almost feel like right now you don't really have any plans for something. You don't feel you need a plan. You're maybe being a little spontaneous with your month of July, and that's okay. Because I feel like you're doing some emotional work, that maybe even going on some kind of soul quest to find those things that really enrich your life. Not only from an external point of view or from an experience point of view or from a relationship point of view. This is what really feeds your soul. What emotions do you want to feel more regularly? What are those things that are draining you emotionally? Who are those people that are draining you? What experiences are draining you? And I feel you're really doing some assessment before you start making plans towards your future and where you're going next. Again, there's a soul cultivation happening, an emotional cultivation. You want to cultivate more of the things that fill your soul. And I almost get travel. So it's almost like your movement has been delayed in getting to where you want to go because you're cultivating or building up on the things you want to create more of in your life. And so it's almost like you're putting the brakes on because you don't want to continue going in the same direction or doing the same things with the same people because something is feeling a little off. So you're going to put the brakes on, do some assessment, maybe go on a bit of a soul quest to figure out what's going on and how can I live my life more abundantly in a more fulfilling way. And so I'm going to not make any decisions. I'm not going to take any action. I'm just going to explore for the month of July. I'm going to try things. I'm going to experiment. And with the Seven of Wands, I really feel like you're stepping into some kind of purpose or passion or having some kind of focus here, some relentless focus. And you're okay with cutting certain things out, with shaking up your status quo. And you might have some people that are questioning what you're doing because I almost feel like this is a bit of an abrupt halt to that status quo, what people are used to seeing from you or hearing from you or feeling from you. This is like, whoa, I thought you wanted to do this or that or the other thing, and you're just having a change of heart about a whole bunch of stuff. And so this is a month where you are taking time to assess that. You are taking time to understand where you're going and why. I think the why is super important because you no longer want to settle for things that are, yeah, they're fun, but they're not fulfilling. And that could be for experiences or people or jobs. You're really trying to bloom into who you are and blossom. And I feel like you're doing that to a degree, but you want to do more of it. There is a fiery desire to do more of that. Soul growth, soul exploration, ultimate soul fulfillment. And you're going to fight for that. I don't think you're not settling for anything less now, especially when you figure that out. You're a very determined person as well. And you may be cutting off communications from certain people because you've somehow come to some realization through this soul growth that it's plain as day that this person or this circumstance or these people or this experience no longer aligns with who I want to be or where I want to go. I thought it did, but now it doesn't. So you might be cutting off communication or being very abrupt in some kind of connection that you have with somebody else, or maybe even multiple people. And you might get some backlash from that. You might have to justify or stand up for that. And you can do that very diplomatically, so it doesn't have to be a fight, and I do hope it's not a fight if it does come to that. That's only for some of you, though. For others of you, it's just going to be a simple or a gentle letting go of this old storyline or old you, old way of doing something. Where others, I feel you're going to be very firm. This is how it is. And just like that card that flew out, it just, this is how it is. Because, you just want to cultivate something more in your life. And I keep saying that, but Yeah. We've got owls. Both owls. That's cool. So I think you have a very deep knowing and a deep intuition about this. Maybe you're telling the truth to people that this is how it is now. It's almost like the mask is coming off, and that's not to say you're deceiving anybody or you did. It's just you are understanding who you are, especially if you're going on some kind of soul quest here. You have now a deep understanding or a better understanding of who you are. So there's almost no question of what you need to do, the actions you need to take, the things you need to cut out and do more of. So you're really moving through this process of connecting in with that intuition more, connecting in with that knowing more, of purging emotions and maybe even relationships that no longer serve you, that maybe once did but no longer. You're no longer moving in the direction because it's expected or because you feel you should. You're actually tapping into that feeling of yours, that feeling center, that intuitive center, and saying, is this what I want to spend my money on, what I want to spend my time on, who I want to spend my time with? Will it be enriching for me? Will I be fulfilled after? Or am I just doing it because it's expected, or it's something that we've done every year as a friendship group or a team or as a family? You're really bringing that into question, and you're leaning into that a little bit more. You're coming into your own truth. You're removing the mask that maybe you once wore for a long time and didn't even know that you were. So now you're opening your heart. You're sharing that truth with others. And I feel that comes from a very deep place that you really took the time to understand. So it's not like you're doing this on a whim. You're not doing it to hurt feelings. You're not doing it to be selfish. You're doing it because it's in your best interest and aligns you to your highest good. And so no hard feelings is what I'm hearing from Spirit. No hard feelings. Especially because this is in alignment with who you are now, where you're going, where you want to go. So I think that's what July is going to bring in for you and what you're going to be exploring a little more of. I almost get for some of you that you're going to be canceling a trip that you may have planned, maybe with friends or even family. But you're canceling a trip with somebody because you're realizing that's not where I want to go. I don't want to spend this money doing that thing. And hopefully you have a cancellation window to do that. But again, for some of you, not all of you. And we're just going to get some final cards to give some advice or insight on these messages. One more. Thank you. Okay, I love this one for you. Listening to wisdom. So you are listening to your own wisdom. And you're acting. I feel like you've done a lot of digging. You've dug to the root of a lot of things in the month of July, or you're going to dig for a lot of things. And we have amethyst here, which is a very intuitive stone. So whatever work you're doing in the month of July, it's significantly changing you at the root in the best way. I feel like you're releasing a lot of emotions, old emotions. I'm getting goosebumps, and it is 30 degrees here today, so Celsius. So it's not like I'm cold. I think Spirit is really coming through to share that it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. And crows could be a significant messenger for you to let you know that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing. Owls could also be a very significant sign, symbol, synchronicity for you. But I do really feel like you are doing a lot of intuitive work, which is part of the Eight of Cups, that questing energy of, I have to figure this out. I have to drop what's no longer working for me. And that could be emotions within self too. That doesn't necessarily mean your emotional connection with others. It could be, I no longer want to feel this way. So let's figure out what the root of that is so we can resolve it, transmute it, heal it, and move on from it. So we're no longer held back by it. And listening to your wisdom, I think you are listening very well to your wisdom in the month of July. You're listening to your intuition because you understand it better, you understand you better, and you're implementing that a little bit more. Maybe you've been doing a lot more meditation in the month of July, or you will be. Maybe meditation would be beneficial for you, or maybe you are stepping up your meditation in the month of July. Now, meditation doesn't necessarily mean sit in stillness with your eyes closed, although that's kind of the basic understanding of it. It could be a walking meditation where you're simply removing all distractions. You're in the middle of nature and you're just moving, exploring, observing, and just being. So yeah, listening to your higher self is going to be really important. Cultivating that relationship with that higher self, with that deep knowing, could be that overall energy of the month of July. You're really doing some beautiful work here, Soul Path 3. So this is what I have for you. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. And with gratitude, I'm sending you all my love for the month of July, and we'll see you in your next reading.